Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to cover loops in Python. In Python, there are mainly two kinds of loop, that is while loop and for loop. And the way we use while loop and for loop depends on different kinds of use cases. The main theme of this video is that you have a better understanding of loops at the end of this video, not just only memorizing the syntax, but also knowing when the bugs arrives, how to solve them, and getting to know the pattern of loops even before typing or executing the code. So just by looking the code, you will be able to understand how loop works after completing of this video. So let's get started. The first one is while loop. So while loop is nothing but your Python program asking what should I do again and again given a condition. Okay, in any programming language there are mainly three things in loop. First is initialization, second is condition, and third is update. Any of this is missing, your code will not execute properly or it will throw some error. So the first step is initialization, which is here we are initializing our counter to 1, and then the second thing is condition. Here we are giving our condition, we are using the keyword while our condition, that is count, is less than equals to 3. If this is true, then this whole thing will be executed. Until and unless this is true, this whole thing will be executed. At any point, if this condition is false, then our loop breaks and we will be thrown out of the loop, or our loop is exited. Okay, so we should always have an initialization, a condition, and update lines in our loops. So I'll just run this while loop with the condition and our initialization and update, and let's see what happens. So you can see 1, 2, and 3 is printed. I'll take you through what's happening inside the code. We can see the count is initialized to 1, and we are checking if count is less than or equal to 3. At first, yes, it is less than, because 1 is less than 3, because our count is 1 at first. So count is less than or equal to 3. Yes, it is true. When it is true, when our condition is true, what happens? We come inside and execute whatever is there inside the while block. So we are printing the count. We are printing the count, which is 1 at first, and then we are incrementing count by 1. So what does this mean? Is it's similar to doing count is equals to count plus 1. What we're doing is we're taking the original value of count, adding 1 to it, and then again reassigning that value to count, so that in our first iteration it becomes 2. We can also write this as plus equals to count plus equals to 1. So that's why we are getting 1. Now 2, now count becomes 2, and 2 is also less than equals to 3, which is true. Again print, which is 2 is printed. Again count is incremented, it becomes 3. Now 3 is also less than equals to 3, because there are two conditions, less than or equals to. So 3 is equals to 3, that is true, so it comes inside and it gets executed. Now in the fourth iteration, count becomes 4. Now 4 is less than equal to 3, no. So the condition is false, and we are exited out of the loop, and it's not printed anymore. So 1, 2, and 3 is only printed. So let me show you what happens if we miss any of these condition. I'll show you with the update, removing the update condition. Okay, update statement. So if I comment this out, and if I run this again, if I run this whole thing again, you can see 1 is printing infinitely, because we are not updating at all, and 1 is always less than 3. 1 less than 3 true, 1 less than 3 true, and it will be true for infinity. That's why we are stuck in an infinite loop. That's why it's always important to have a update statement which helps us to break out of the loop. If I run again, so let me cut this terminal once and open a new terminal, and I will bring this terminal here so that you can see properly. I will start Python, and then I will take this and execute. While executing only the block of code, what I'm doing is I'm pressing shift and enter. So I'm pressing shift and enter. Okay, it's executing here. Okay, that's totally fine. Let me remove this and bring this one here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 is printed here. Okay, I hope you understood the while loop. Now let's move to for loop. For loop is also similar to while loop. The only difference here is this range function. Now in while loop, we were incrementing, or we are updating the counter by ourselves, but here Python will take care of it. It will do the increment for us using the range function. What it does is we give a range from starting point till the ending point, and it takes from here before this, not including this, but it stops exactly one step before the range, ending range. So if I have to show you this, if I take this and execute, you can see only 1, 2, and 3 is printed, which is this. So 1 is taken and it got incremented by 1. 2 is taken, 2 is also printed, again incremented by 1. 3 is taken, 3 is printed. Now when it is incremented to 4, we have given range of 4. Now when range of 4 comes, we are not including that, so we break out of the loop. That's why only 1, 2, 3 is printed. So whenever you want to include a number, you have to give the range that is one step or one value more than that. So if you want to print 4 as well, we will give 5 here, and if we run this again, you can see 4 is also printed. That's how range works. Now one more way to write the range function is just giving the ending value, and Python will automatically start from 0. Now 0 is not weird, because in every programming language indexes starts from 0. That's why it takes from 0, 1, and 2. So if I print this, you'll see 0, 1, and 2 getting printed right here. Okay, moving on. One more way to write the range function is that it actually takes 3 arguments. So here I told you, let me give 1 comma 4 comma 1. Okay, so this is called starting and this is called ending, as I told you here. Similarly, now one more is added here. What is this? This is called step value. What is step value? It means that we are incrementing by one value at a time. So you can see here we did not give anything. When we do not give anything after the at the end, Python automatically takes the step value as 1. That's why when we printed, our value was increasing by 1. 1 plus 1 2, 2 plus 1 3, so it was increasing by 1. Now if I give 1 here, it will again do the same thing. You can see 1 here, 2 here, 3 here. But if I give 2 here, you can see the step value is 2. Now our starting point will be 1. 1 plus 2 will become 3. So next number that is getting printed will be 3. Again 3 plus 2 will become 5. But our ending range is 4, which means it can only take value up to 3. But 5 is greater than 3, so only 1 and 3 will be printed. So you can see only 1 and 3 will be printed here. Okay, so let me show you one more example. I'll print from 1 to 10, so you'll understand it better. If I run this, you can see 1 is printed 3, so we are skipping values by 2, or we are incrementing by 2 steps. If I give 3 here, and if I run again, you can see we are incremented by 3 steps, because 1 plus 3 is 4, 4 plus 3 is 7, 7 plus 3 is 10. Now we know when we give 10 here, we cannot include 10, so 10 is not included here. If it was 9, it would have been included. Okay, now you will be thinking, what if I want to print in reverse, or what if I want reverse indexes? So it's pretty simple. If you want reverse indexes, you just need to put minus value in step functions, and your starting should be greater and ending should be smaller. That's it. So if you run, sorry, so if you run this, you can see here 10 9, and again you can see here 1 is not printed because we don't include. When we are decrementing, we will only include till a higher value. Here we were including till one lower value, here we are including till one higher value. So if I give minus 2 here, if I give minus 2 and run, you can see 10, we are decrementing by 2 steps. So that's how for loop and range works. Now for loop can be used not only with indexes but also with items in real world data. So we'll take a real world data as an example. I have a list, so this is a list data type which have names of Alice, Bob, Charlie. So it has all the strings values, Alice, Bob, Charlie. Now as we know, indexes always starts from 0. It's just like an array. List is just like an array in Python, but it's much more dynamic than array. So names, so the Alice is 0th index, Bob is 1 index, Charlie is 2nd index. Now instead of looping through the indexes, we can loop through the items. So for name or whatever variable you want to give here, so you can give anything here. Okay, but you have to use that here. You have to use that here. Okay, you can give anything here. This represents for every item here. Now to represent this item, you can give any name here, but since these are names, I'm giving that value as name. Okay, I'm giving those values as name. So for name, in our names, so this here our actual list or index, list or set or dictionary will come here. So for name, this is the variable that we give according to the items that are inside our data type, and this is the actual variable that is holding the actual data. So for name, in, so in keyword, I have explained this in my previous videos, that in keyword takes items from the lists. So it checks if it takes Alice first, then go to Bob, then go to Charlie. So if I run this and print this, you can see Alice, Bob and Charlie is printed right here. If I add one more item here, suppose Wise, and if I run this again, you can see Alice, Bob, Charlie and Wise is also printed here. I can show you one more thing. If you want to also want the index also, now you want to have the indexes also of the items, because we know Alice is 0, Bob is 1, Charlie is 2 and Wise is 3. You want indexes also, so that time you can use something. There's a function called enumerate. You can see here enumerate came here. So wrap this names variable inside the enumerate, and it returns, enumerate returns two values. See, the names only have one value, right? One values at a time, one value is returned. That's why we're taking only name. But enumerate return two values, that is the actual item and its index as well. So first it returns its index, and then it returns its actual item. Okay, so we're taking index and name. So I can print here uh, uh, name. I'll give name found in index index. I'll remove this. Okay, now if I run this, you can see here name Alice found is index 0, name Bob found in 1, 2 and 3 respectively. I hope you understood this. If you have any doubt, please put it in the comments and I'll be happy to answer. Now one more very important topics, two more very important topics are break and continue. These two keywords are very important if you want to um, have a control over your loops. So what does these two do? Okay, let's go to break. So break will automatically stop as soon as the condition is met. As soon as we reach this break statement, our whole loop will stop, or we will exit out of the loop as soon as we reach here. Okay, as soon as we reach here, we exit the loop. Okay, so just remember this: as soon as we reach here, we exit the loop. Now let's see when we are reaching here. So we know how range functions. We'll go to 1, and if nothing is given, we're stepping by 1. So for I in range, that is I is starting from 1. So I equals to 3. If there is a condition, if I have explained if statements in my previous video, you can go and check it out. if I equals to 3. Is I equals to 3 in first step? No, because we know I equals to 1 in first iteration. So it will not go inside this because this will become false. So if it does not go inside, break will not be executed. We will just print and again go back to our loop. So 1 will be printed, 2 will be printed. Now when we reach 3, I will be equal to 3, and we break out of the loop, and everything else will be like we just break out of the loop. We exit the loop itself, and everything, our print and whatever is there below that will be skipped forever. Okay, for that particular loop. So if I run this and show, only 1 and 2 should be printed. So you can see here only 1 and 2 are printed. Hope you got the point of break. Similarly, we have one more function called continue. Suppose what if when this condition is met, you don't want to exit the whole loop, you don't want to skip the rest of the numbers, like 4 and 5 are also skipped because we're just checking for 3, right? But you wanna skip only 3, and you wanna continue your loop as it is, like however it was working before. But whenever it reaches 3, I wanna skip whatever execution is there. So at that time we use continue. That means whenever we hit the condition and hit continue, rest of the thing will be skipped for that particular iteration. For other iterations, again it will continue as it is. So similarly, when we reach I equals to 3, we will continue, and it will not be, since it is continuous, so whatever is there below will not be executed. That means 3 will not be printed, rest everything will be printed. That is 1, 2, 4 and 5. So you can see here 1, 2, 4 and 5 are printed. Okay, I hope you got the idea about breaks and loops. So the last topic on loops are loop with else. So you would have seen if with else, right? But in Python also supports loop with else. So for loop or while loop are supported with else. So when is it executed? It is executed only after the loop ends. So suppose loop end and it never broke. Loop never broke and it ended normally. Okay, then our else will be executed. Let's take an example here. We have a list of numbers and we are iterating through the numbers, as I shown you here how we can iterate through the items using for whatever value we want to take. Because we have number, we are just taking n. So you can also take mbr, any mbr number also, and here also you have to give number. Okay, anything you can take here, but here we need to take the variable name. Okay, so now we are checking if the number is getting divided, or our reminder from getting divided is 0. That means it's even or it is odd. It's a simple program, right? So once this loop is completed, that means once we have gone through all the elements and we did not break in between, that means this break is not hit, then our else will also be printed. Okay, let me show an example. Right now you can see 1, 3 and 5 are there, and none of these are even numbers. So that means this condition will never be true, and we will never reach break. And when we never reach break, our for loop will be executed for all the numbers here. We will not break or skip any numbers, right? So when this completes, our else will also be printed. So in this case, else should also be printed. So you can see here, no even numbers is printed. You can see here, no even numbers is printed because we came here, 1 is not equal to true, this is false, for 3 it is false, for 5 it is false, because nothing is even. So we did not reach break. But if I give 2 here, and now see, we know 2 is even. Now as soon as we reach 2, we know even number found, and we are breaking. Now as soon as we break, our else will not be printed because we are hitting a break, or we are exiting the loop before completing the entire list. Okay, so if I run this again, you can see even number found. But if I remove break from here, what do you think will happen? Because we have 2 here and it will be printed even number found. What will happen? Both of these will be executed, because this will be executed when 2 comes. Okay, when 2 comes, we know it will, this condition will become true and this will be executed. But this will be executed because our for loop will continue, and it will stop only when it reaches out of index, or it completes iteration of whole of our list. So let's see that, and you can see even number found and no even numbers are also printed. So else with loops is very very important, and it's very perfect for search logics. And most of the loop bugs that comes from mainly two things: when you forget to update the value, or breaking in the wrong place, or continuing in the wrong place. So you have to be very very careful with using these and not to forget these things. If you understand the flow, debugging will become very very boring. And believe me, boring is good, boring is easy. So to sum it up, a loop will exactly do what you tell it to do repeatedly. That's all. Hope you understood. Thank you. Bye bye. See you in the next video.